morning, Americans. My name is Harry Jackson, and welcome to another installment of the Footprints of History series. Today, I will discuss one of our most significant, but least written about, founding fathers. Colossians 3:23 states, "Whatever you do, work heartily, as for the Lord and not for men." Roger Sherman is a great example of this. Roger Sherman was a devout Puritan Congregationalist and a member of a New Light church administered by Dr. Jonathan Edwards, Jr. Mr. Sherman has a unique distinction among the founding fathers. He is the only one to sign all four founding documents. Yes, there are four: the Continental Association, the Declaration of Independence, the Articles of Confederation, and, of course, the U.S. Constitution. He was a member of the Declaration of Writing Committee with Jefferson, Adams, Franklin, and Livingston, and he assisted the writing of the Articles of Confederation and the U.S. Constitution. Sherman is credited with the Connecticut Compromise that saved the Constitutional Convention and created the bicameral House and Senate legislature we know today. When James Madison wrote the Virginia Plan, Roger Sherman stepped in from Connecticut. It is claimed by scholars that Roger Sherman had more influence than Madison on the final version of the Constitution. And as pointed out by Mark Hall in his book, Roger Sherman and the Creation of the American Republic, most of the recent scholarship of the founders focused mostly on Washington, Franklin, Jefferson, Madison, and Paine, the five gentlemen considered the most liberal of the founders. They then used those five to claim that the founders were deists, but completely ignore Sherman and the other 50 who signed the Declaration, and even more who signed the Constitution. Sherman was born in Massachusetts in 1721, and his father was a moderate farmer who didn't have the means to send Roger for education or his siblings. He became a shoemaker, a shopkeeper, a land surveyor, and then a publisher of almanacs. In 1754, with no formal education, Roger Sherman tested and was admitted into the Connecticut Bar Association. He subsequently became a lower court judge. In 1761, he moved the family to New Haven, Connecticut, and served as treasurer of Yale College. In 1766, he was elected to the upper house of the state of Connecticut and was also appointed as judge of the Supreme Court of Connecticut. He was elected by Connecticut to the First Continental Congress and continued to be reelected to the U.S. Congress in the House and then the Senate for the remainder of his life. Sherman's testimony was that he became a Congregationalist before the age of 21, and his chosen book of study was the Bible. What struck me was many called him the Old Puritan, but many accounts cover his political accomplishments and barely touch his Christian faith. However, there are numerous quotes about Sherman from other founding members. If you listen closely, you hear the scriptures emanating from his life. President Thomas Jefferson once told someone, "That is Mr. Sherman of Connecticut, who has never said a foolish thing in his life." Ephesians 5:4 states, "Let there be no filthiness, nor foolish talk, nor crude joking." Senator Macon stated, "Roger Sherman has more common sense than any man I ever knew." Common sense, or practical wisdom, comes from the study and application of Proverbs, Psalms, Ephesians, and other books. Another distinguishing trait was his unbending integrity. Many claim he was honest, and the weight of his observations as a Supreme Court judge or in writing the U.S. Constitution came from Sherman's personal integrity. Fisher Ames said, "If I am absent during the discussion of a subject, and I consequently know not which side to vote, I always look at Roger Sherman, for I am sure if I vote with him, I shall vote right." It is said few men were intimately acquainted with the doctrines of the gospel and the metaphysical controversies of the day. Roger had prolonged correspondence with Jonathan Edwards, Jr., Dr. Hopkins, Dr. Trumbull, Yale President Timothy Dwight, Princeton Presidents Jonathan Dickerson, and John Witherspoon, and they all had high regard for Sherman as a theologian and derived much education from their correspondence with him. Remember that Roger had no formal education. His foundation was the Bible and an avid desire to read and learn. Thank you for your attention, and may God bless America.